We hope you're wearing your best Beskar because it's time to dive deep into the minds of Mandalore for the Mandalorian Season 3 finale. Although there wasn't a big finale cameo or a post-credit scene setting up the next storyline, the return was a satisfying episode where old scores were settled, new bonds were formed, and things were changed forever with another major death. Hello and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today, we're going to talk about The Mandalorian Season 4, the highly anticipated continuation of the hit Star Wars series on Disney+. We will give you a first look at what we know so far about the upcoming season, including the release date, cast, episodes, spoilers, and more. So buckle up and get ready for Season 4. The Mandalorian Season 3 recap and ending explained. The Mandalorian Season 3 ended with a big hero moment for Grogu as he helped save Din Djarin from Moff Gideon. The pair, helped by Bo-Katan and the rest of the Mandalorian fleet, went up against him in a showdown on Mandalore. While the Darksaber was destroyed, the Axe-Wives' masterful tactic of crashing their cruiser into the base finished Gideon off, and luckily, Grogu used his Force powers to project Djarin and Bo from harm. After the battle, the Mandalorians retook Mandalore and restarted the Creed ceremony in the living waters. Djarin announced he would take on Grogu as his apprentice and son, as he was adorably christened Din Grogu. As the pair planned to head back off on their adventures, they stopped to talk to Carson Teva and land some work with the New Republic. The season finished in a wholesome setup as Mando and Grogu kicked back at their new cabin on Navarro. The Mandalorian Season 4 story details. The Season 3 finale gave our heroes a happy ending. Din and Grogu are now living in Navarro, ready to embark on freelance missions for the New Republic, and Bo-Katan and the Armorer have liberated Mandalore from the Empire. We may be in peacetime now, but Grand Admiral Thrawn is coming, as is Dave Filoni's Mandoverse movie, which will tie all of the live-action shows together for a big-screen conclusion. The executive producer, who will be directing the film, told Variety, "On a base level, we would just say the coming conflict, the growing idea that the Empire wasn't as defeated as a lot of people want to believe, and that the remnant is out there." Who is Grand Admiral Thrawn? Star Wars villain origin and future. Grand Admiral Thrawn is a classic Star Wars villain from the old expanded universe who will become vital to the franchise's future in canon. Star Wars may have started out as a film franchise, but at present it seems to be flourishing in other mediums instead, most notably on the small screen, in an ever-expanding range of live-action Disney Plus TV shows. From The Mandalorian to the upcoming Ahsoka, Star Wars TV success will build to a theatrical event centering on Thrawn himself. After Ahsoka, Grand Admiral Thrawn will appear in the newly announced cinematic event from Dave Filoni. This film is set to culminate the events of the New Republic era, bringing together the characters from The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, the Book of Boba Fett, and potentially even Skeleton Crew for a battle against the Chiss Grand Admiral Thrawn after Star Wars setup of his villainy. All of this shows the importance of Thrawn in the Star Wars canon after many assumed his legend stories would remain as such. With Filoni set to release his own adaptation of Heir to the Empire, his vitality for future Star Wars canon is evident. Theory: The Mandalorian movie makes Luke Skywalker's wife Star Wars canon. The Mandalorian and its spin-off shows have brought back several characters and storylines from the Star Wars Legends universe, making it possible for the Mandalorian movie to reintroduce Luke Skywalker's wife in canon. Because Luke's arc in the Star Wars sequel trilogy was so different from his Legends counterpart, it seemed that making his wife canon was impossible, and that her story would no longer work in the new continuity. However, the Star Wars TV shows have found ways to reintegrate Legends characters by adjusting their storylines, especially characters from the same books that introduced Luke's wife. The Thrawn Trilogy by Timothy Zahn launched the modern Star Wars expanded universe, aka Legends, and became one of the franchise's most popular and influential stories. The Mandalorian movie is all set to adapt Grand Admiral Thrawn's story into the canon, with multiple Star Wars stories setting up different aspects of the books. Rook appeared in Star Wars Rebels Season 4, Mount Tantiss was heavily featured in Star Wars The Bad Batch, and the 2020 Darth Vader comic series by Greg Pak revealed that Palpatine had Luke's hand on Exegol. If Star Wars was bold enough to tease Luke's clone, then surely the Mandalorian movie can make his wife canon again. Mara Jade is the one major gap in Star Wars canon Thrawn story. Mara Jade debuted in 1991's Heir to the Empire, the first book of the Thrawn Trilogy, and eventually became Luke's wife in Legends. If she were to be included in the Mandalorian movie, then the final major gap would be filled in Star Wars canon Thrawn's story. The Grand Admiral himself has already been set up, serving as the main villain in the second half of Star Wars Rebels and making his live-action debut in the upcoming Ahsoka TV series. This naturally makes Thrawn the perfect villain for the Mandalorian movie, and most of the necessary elements from the Thrawn Trilogy have been set up as well. Thrawn will have all of his closest allies in future Star Wars projects, including Imperial Captain Gilad Pellaeon, his second-in-command in Legends. The Mandalorian also set up the Empire's Force cloning through Moff Gideon, and with Mount Tantiss having been featured in the Bad Batch, Thrawn can carry out his original Legends plan to defeat the New Republic. Finally, Thrawn will have Balan Skoll as a Force-sensitive ally to replace Joruus C'baoth from Legends, with some theories suggesting that the two characters are one and the same. That leaves Mara as the final piece of the canon Thrawn story puzzle. The Mandalorian has had many great episodes throughout its run, but a select few convey the series at its absolute best. As the first live-action Star Wars TV series, The Mandalorian paved the way for future shows by demonstrating how successful these long-term stories could be. While The Mandalorian has admittedly had some bumps along the way, the show's great aspects far outweigh any of its shortcomings. The exceptional filmmaking, memorable characters, emotional performances, and respect for the Star Wars universe makes The Mandalorian one of the best stories in the entire franchise. The Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 5, Chapter 21 The Pirate, served as a very satisfying payoff by bringing several story arcs full circle. The Mandalorians finally returned to Navarro after the massacre in Season 1, and it was great to see the entire covert in action as they became the planet's liberators. The episode is full of compelling character moments, especially Paz Vizsla's speech to the other Mandalorians, showing how far he and Din Djarin have come since the start of the series. Topped off with great aerial combat and set up for the next few episodes, this was a great halfway point for The Mandalorian Season 3. The Mandalorian Season 1 Episode 8, Chapter 8 Redemption, didn't disappoint as the show's first season finale. IG-11 took the spotlight for some of the episode's biggest moments, from Din Djarin being unmasked to the droid's heartbreaking sacrifice that saved everyone at the end. Giancarlo Esposito also shines as Moff Gideon, taking on Din Djarin with a TIE fighter and ending the episode with the massive darksaber reveal. Despite all the incredibly exciting moments, Din Djarin and Grogu are the true heart of the episode, with the Mandalorian flying away with the child he saved at the end, just as the Mandalorians once did for him. That's all for today's video on The Mandalorian Season 4. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more Star Wars content. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video. And let us know in the comments what you think of The Mandalorian and what you are looking forward to in Season 4. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.